Blue Exorcist has officially gotten a time skip. I called this like almost a year ago, thinking that with the fight against Satan, we weren't actually going to end the series just yet, as it was never announced that it was the final arc or the final battle just yet, even though it honestly kind of felt like it. And lo and behold, I was right, we did get a time skip, and a 2-year time skip at that. And things have changed drastically in the world of Blue Exorcist, and I'm excited to talk about it. Also, I apologize that I wasn't able to get a review of Chapter 138, a lot that was going on over the last couple of months, and I didn't really have the time to do a recap review of that chapter, so I apologize for that. But Blue Exorcist is coming back to the channel with the regularly scheduled monthly reviews, and I'm thinking of doing some videos of Blue Exorcist when I have the opportunity to. I do want to make more Blue Exorcist content, because now I also added JoJo's to the docket, as I'm trying to balance that out as well. But don't worry, Blue Exorcist is still going to be a mainstay of the channel, so look forward to that. Now, really quick, I just want to give a brief recap of 138, just so we can all understand where we're at right now in case you are only following Blue Exorcist through my chapter reviews. So, in Chapter 138, we get the reveal that Satan's body literally just created a giant crater after that huge explosion from the previous chapters with the virus that was meant to basically kill Satan. But RIN surviving, not knowing where everyone is, he then sees Satan in the middle of the crater trying to reform himself. But then all of a sudden, his body starts to collapse and implode, unable to stand on his own 2 feet. His body is beginning to disintegrate and can't handle his power anymore, most likely due to the body that was given to him by Lucifer, plus the virus that was placed on him. Now, we all were led to believe that Lucifer was pro-reviving his father, but it seems like there was something else in mind, but he does look kind of solemn seeing that Satan is going to be destroyed. RIN, I honestly kind of like these flying using his flames, is just staring down at Satan, wondering what's going on. But Satan lunges at RIN to try and get a physical body. RIN pounds him to the ground, but all of a sudden he holds back, despite saying that he's going to kick Satan's ass and, defeat Satan for everything he's done. But RIN kind of stops and says, even you should be allowed to live. Honestly, I think it's probably because he knows Satan's backstory, his mother's backstory, and Father Fujimoto's backstory, which is why he's kind of showing some restraint as well as and kind of compassion and mercy, as he just reaches out his hand, make peace. If you promise not to kill humans, Mephisto will work something out, which that is very idealistic of RIN. So yeah, he's gone full shonen protagonist with wanting to make peace with the villain. But Satan laughs at him, saying that demons and humans can live in harmony, stating that the humans brainwashed RIN and that they just want to put demons in cages like animals and tame them. As RIN imagines for a brief second how he sealed his demon personality within his sword when he awakened his true power, and Satan just wondering, do I want to make peace? I'd rather die. And yeah, his body starts to disintegrate and break apart. We get to see images of him just wanting to kill someone for betraying him, probably still blaming RIN's mother to an extent, and thinks of himself as a god, and he needs a new physical body. But as his body disintegrates, his heart remaining, as we didn't get some images of Satan when he was just a little spark in the wind when he met a young Yuri in the snow. Then his energy explodes and he begins to basically branch out and merge with the world as he wants to try and get a body, since the only thing that can handle his vast power is the very land itself. Anyway, that is the brief recap of Chapter 138. Now, onto Chapter 139. So, I'm just going to breeze past most of it because it's merely just establishing shots and things that we're getting with some new information. So we see Satan's body continuously expand across the globe, reaching vines going over mountains, changing the landscapes, and we see even more of the demons causing trouble and mayhem. We get paneling shots from all across the globe, seeing how this is affecting people. More or less kind of merging the two worlds in a sense, bringing Gehenna onto Asia, as we get news reporters going over Japan stating that times of catastrophe, the people of ancient Japan would call this a Maja. As we get an overview shot of a landscape, I think that's Italy. I believe that's Italy. But then we pan over to a dark void as we see Mephisto within Satan's very flesh, his innards, as he says, as he's absorbing everything around him in search of a material body. And Mephisto really just wants to escape sooner or later, and if not, he assumes, and from what I can gather from his dialogue, he might actually get absorbed into this giant mass and maybe digested. But then this giant crackle appears before him as he notices that Satan's body has given rise to explosive energy, and it's even warping space-time. But he notices it's growing even larger and larger as he sees the warpedness of space and time around him becoming unstable. He then sees outside, and he's like, "What's this?" with a sinister grin on his face, as there's then one giant explosion as everything fades out to white. And that, for now, is the last we see of Mephisto. We then cut over to a helicopter above the land as we see how it's shaped and changed due to Satan merging with the Earth. We see that this is a Knights of the True Cross helicopter, and we are at a base where members are greeting the Paladin, saying that the deformation of Earth's crust has increased a lot of seismic activity. And they end up seeing that through a lot of the videos, some of the Canaria sprites that they sent to the Earth's core did not return at all, seemingly being absorbed. As we see, the Paladin is obviously Arthur, as he has healed from his wounds, and he reveals it's been 2 years since this Maja disaster, and we get an official 2-year time skip in Blue Exorcist, and this is honestly kind of crazy to see how everything is going to happen. Also, Arthur, that scar, very sick scar. Honestly, a part of me honestly assumed that with a 2-year time skip, the next Paladin was probably going to be like Yukio or something. I honestly would have loved that, him following the steps of Father Fujimoto. That would be pretty cool. But no, it's still Arthur. But it seems like he's one of the leaders of the Knights of True Cross right now. For all we know, the Grigori aren't in power anymore, or they don't have as much sway as they can, because things are seemingly changing rapidly. As Arthur just says, Satan is returning after 2 years, so it's very possible that after all the energy that he's absorbing, Satan is trying to recreate his body. We then get a 2-page spread showing bridges and the areas around, showing that what this area is, and it is basically an anti-demon wall. And we get multiple news reports about how it's been 2 years, people are mourning their losses from this giant disaster, and different news reports from across the globe about how the Knights of the True Cross are battling different demons across the globe in a never-ending war to battle the attacks from the army of the Demon King. Not Satan, the Demon King. It could be referring to Satan, but as we'll see by the end of this chapter, it's most likely not. And apparently this army has been attacking for the past year, and they're wondering what's going to happen next, because this seems like an unending battle against the demons. We then cut to Shima post time skip. Really cool design, as apparently he's not just a True Cross member and soldier, but he is a model. He's doing commercials. The one we see is from Red Devil Anti-Demon Energy Drink. 1 a day keeps the demons away. As he smiles at the camera. I honestly find this hilarious, and this kind of fits Shima's style completely. He's the only character besides Arthur that we've met post time skip in this chapter, so I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. As everyone's fawning over Shima's commercial, one person is walking through the crowd in a white coat, and she actually ends up going to True Cross Station, which is only open to True Cross personnel due to the battle against the Demon King. It's also revealed that she's kind of been dodging her duties, presumably because she's sick, but she's reporting to her training right now. And I just like we get this big establishing 2-page spread establishing shot of True Cross Academy, looking very different now, with all the area around it changed, and seemingly being just turned into more of a military base instead of just a school. As this character is walking around, they're wondering why they have been shirking their duties and that everything's changed, and it's not like they're going to meet anybody anyway. But then she meets somebody in the crowd, as it is someone that she's went to school with, and it's revealed that this person in the white cloak is Noriko Paku. And I did not remember who she was. Honestly, originally I thought she was male when I was looking at this chapter, but I looked back and I checked even the wiki. Turns out she is female, and She was actually Izumo's friend throughout the story, but she kind of like left cram school, seemingly like she could not handle everything going on with the demons and stuff like that. So we're getting Izumo's old friend being reintroduced into the story. Anyway, this other character that she meets, Godai, is just glad that she's alive, but she's in the order now, since she used to attend the cram school, but now she's a non-combatant office worker. Her old classmate states that her family must be proud, but she reveals that they're all dead, presumably from the disaster 2 years ago, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of people lost their family members and friends in that disaster 2 years ago. Godai then brings up Shima surviving and defending them, and he's on a whole other level now. Honestly, I kind of feel like he's mostly just going to be doing commercials and stuff like that. The man is a snake. I love Shima. He's a great trader character. He's definitely doing something behind the scenes. It's just been his character for the last, like, almost 100 chapters, from what I can remember. But yeah, Paku says it's hard to believe, and maybe it's not even true. Maybe the order is even screwed up. Wondering if Godai has thought of this. As she continues, as she is being told that Satan would have conquered the world 2 years ago if it weren't for them. Thanks to yours protection, they can enjoy peaceful lives. And he's asking why she's acting so strange. She says that she tried to accept it. The mantra changed everything, and they said it was necessary. But she says, I saw it myself. Before she can say anything else, 2 True Cross Academy security guards find her and ask for both their IDs. Her classmate agrees, but she runs off. Not sure why. She's wondering why did she run away, as she ends up going to seemingly an old building in the outskirts of town. And she says, I should have gone back. I know that, but going back is scary too. As these 2 security officers come forth and ask for her to come out. They were tracking her, and she's got 1 minute to come out. She's already broken 6 order laws and regulations, and failure to comply will result in up to 5 years of imprisonment or a fine of 3 million yen imposed on their relatives. She has no relatives, so obviously it's going to fall on her. And that she's got 5 seconds to come out. She says, I can't do it, as she comes out saying she won't resist. The guards say, put your hands on your head and turn around, but then a giant flash of light appears in the sky, as demons appear out of this light like it's a portal. The guards report stating that demons have breached the barrier over Inui West. A dragon, which is really cool, a freaking dragon, possibly high level, and 100 hobgoblins. The demon leading them is, and we see in the sky falling out and onto the dragon as they're realizing, no way. It's the Demon King, as it lands on this giant fucking dragon, ending the chapter. If you couldn't tell by my excitement, I love dragons. Now, obviously, from this silhouette, it's RIN. The way the light is on top of his head, him carrying a sword with the tail, you could assume it's Satan, but they would have said it was Satan. So this is definitely RIN. And I'm wondering, why is he leading an army against True Cross? Could something have happened in these 2 years that has changed his perspective on things? Because remember, he was basically supposed to be like one of the main weapons to use to defeat Satan, since he was Satan's kid. But now with Satan merging with the land, what happened to RIN? We don't even see Yukio, we don't see Ban, we don't see Shiemi, we don't see Izumo, we don't see anybody. And Mephisto seemingly got absorbed or just jumped forward in time or something like that. I have no idea with him, but all the characters we know are gone. We see Arthur. Lightning's nowhere to be found, and Lightning is usually by Arthur's side to make sure he doesn't screw things up. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen right now, because things seem to be getting very interesting. Now, I have a good idea of what's going on, but that's like a video in and of itself, and I want to try and get it done. So I'm either going to make it for this month or after next chapter once we get more context. All I know is that it seems like things are not as simple as they appear. Yes, humanity seems to be getting relatively more peaceful lives with True Cross, the Knights of True Cross basically expanding across the globe fighting demons and this Demon King army that seemingly appeared over a year ago. So what's going to happen now, I have no clue. But RIN is seemingly being set up to be kind of like the bad guy for True Cross. But with Paku, with what she said, something doesn't seem right, and maybe the order is screwed up in some way. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. Blue Exorcist, I have no idea how long the series is going to go for. It's 139 chapters, and it's monthly. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. Either way, I'm very excited, because we're simply going to be, this seems to be more of a lead-in arc to what could potentially be the last portion of the story. Because usually when we get time skips, it's either right before the final arc or leading up to the final arc. And that's the midway point of the story. Either way, Blue Exorcist is awesome, and I cannot wait to talk more about it. What do you think happened in these 2 years? Do you really think that this is Rin bleeding the Demon King's army like I do? What do you think led him to this conclusion to do all this? And what do you think is going on with True Cross Academy behind the scenes and where everybody else is? Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Show this help, and it shows you guys like Blue Exorcist and want me to keep this going. I do want to keep Blue Exorcist content coming regularly on the channel, so I'm going to do my very best to try and do more over the course of these next couple of months. So look forward to it. But all that's said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you all have an awesome day.